WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a southern Kentucky community will soon have a much larger, more modern facility to house inmates. The current jail in Laurel County is overcrowded, with some inmates sleeping on mats on the floor. The jailer says that creates a safety issue for guards. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on how the new jail solves that problem and will actually save money for the county.
To give you an indication of just how overcrowded this jail is, this jail built decades ago was designed for 300 inmates, yet there are 550 inmates now being housed here. The brand new jail will allow for more than 660 inmates with the ability to grow. Jailer Jamie Mosley says he'll also be able to house more state and federal inmates along with some from counties that don't have jails, meaning that their operating costs could actually be a lot less, possibly as much as $1 million less a year.
With the overcrowding situation that we currently have at our existing facility, it makes it very difficult to house enough of those revenue-generating inmates to overcome the cost of the county inmates, which you receive no compensation for.
Mosley says the new jail will also have the ability to expand if need be. It will have a secure exterior should they need to evacuate, and it will also have room for a garden where he says they will grow many of the items served in their kitchen. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The jail is expected to open sometime this fall. Once the old jail is renovated, it will be used to house female inmates. One person is behind bars in connection to the murder of an Eastern Kentucky man. Police in Boyd County say 47-year-old James Reed shot and killed Lawrence McCoy at a home in Ashland last night. Reed was arrested around 3:15 this morning just outside of Ironton, Ohio. He's being held in the Lawrence County Detention Center in Ohio. Police say the shooting was related to a domestic incident.
Well, it's been a nicer day here in the mountains. We've been dealing with a stray chance for a shower or two, especially here in Hazard. We'll go ahead and take you to a few of those cameras where we've seen those mixture of sun and clouds really throughout the day. Looking at the National Weather Service camera in Jackson, you can see now they're seeing really those mostly sunny skies. And looking over into satellite and radar, there's those isolated rain chances just been popping up throughout the day, just very fast hitting, and that's what we've seen here in Hazard. We just heard a little one on our roof here at the studio. You can see a stray one out into parts of Pulaski County, but really most of us staying on that drier side, and we'll continue to see that trend as we head into the next couple of days. Temperatures anywhere from those mid to upper 80s, some spots even closer to the 90s, and those dew points out there in the upper 60s to lower 70s, making it feel pretty muggy out there and definitely making it feel like those upper 80s to lower 90s for a lot of us. It's feeling like 94 in London, 89 in Harlan, 92 over into Richmond. Now, we will see plenty of sunshine over the next couple of days, but those temperatures really increase, especially as we head into the weekend. And when will those scattered rain chances return? I'll have all of that coming up in just a few short minutes.
As many Eastern Kentucky schools are now in session, more drivers are on the roads. Today, Kentucky State Police's commercial vehicle enforcement troopers are doing roadway blitzes to make sure drivers follow the law. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher tagged along to learn more.
It's called the TACT campaign, ticketing aggressive cars and trucks. Today, troopers patrolled school zones to catch those breaking the law.
So just enforcing speed and being safe in that small area is very important.
Many school zones in eastern Kentucky are 45 miles per hour.
4 to 5 officers get together. We have one guy that does a stationary radar.
Trooper Jamie Fields with Commercial Vehicle Enforcement says as cars pass, they use LiDAR radar binoculars.
It pins point on the bumper. It gives us an accurate reading of their speed.
Other troopers are on standby.
I got the gray H3 Hummer 58.
Waiting for a vehicle description and the mile per hour number.
3, black Chevy Silverado 73.
When you see all of us out here and you see all the blue lights up and down 119, 23, no matter what road we work, what school zone we work, we're not out here trying to just write tickets.
Record shows 438 fatal crashes in Kentucky so far in 2019. Trooper Field says he hopes through education and enforcing the speed limit, they can decrease the number each year.
That's why we do what we do, enforcing the laws, and just maintain a safe highway.
Troopers say the key to avoiding a ticket is simply following the law. In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Later at 6, we'll have more from today's TACT campaign. One man in Pike County is giving the Camp Creek community a chance to say goodbye to one of its oldest structures. Josh Mayhorn began attempts to restore the old Camp Creek Schoolhouse in the Stopover community earlier this year. But he soon realized restoration was not an option and has decided to tear down the more than 120-year-old building. He says the building served as a one-room schoolhouse from the early 1890s, closing in the late 1960s. Then it became his grandparents' home. Mayhorn says he hates to see the building go.
My grandma, great-grandfather, they all went to school here in this same building, so I always felt a strong connection.
As that connection is what makes the decision to tear down the building even more difficult. We will have more on this story coming up at 5:30. Eastern Kentucky native Tyler Childers is on top of the charts for the first time. The 28-year-old Lawrence County native debuted a new album earlier this month called Country Squire. The album earned the #1 spot on the Top Country Albums chart, as well as the #1 spot on the Americana Folk Albums chart. The first single from the album is called House Fire. Reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley on the USA Network show Chrisley Knows Best are in federal custody with financial criminal charges. A Georgia grand jury indicted the couple and their former accountant yesterday. Charges include conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, and tax evasion. In an Instagram post, Chrisley said the accusations come from an ex-employee who was stealing from them. Chrisley says they have nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of. A groundbreaking new law took effect overnight in New York. The Child Victims Act gives sexual abuse survivors barred by a statute of limitations a one-year window to file a civil lawsuit against their alleged perpetrators and institutions like the Boy Scouts, schools, and the Catholic Church. Some are concerned people will try to take advantage of the new law to make money, but others say it will bring justice to those who thought they got away with it.
This is about accountability and responsibility, holding those institutions responsible for what they allowed or did to children.
The Child Victims Act opens a one-year look-back window in New York during which any person who was under the age of 18 when they were sexually abused can file a civil lawsuit regardless of their age now. Victims previously only had until age 21 to sue an institution and age 23 to sue a perpetrator. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Wednesday afternoon, and it was not a good day on Wall Street. The Dow closes down more than 800 points today, down more than 800. The Kentucky State Fair has changed the way veterans and active duty military members can get complimentary tickets to the event, which starts tomorrow in Louisville. The fair is working with VetTix to process and ship physical tickets since the previous digital tickets received negative feedback. Any active duty military member, honorably discharged veteran, or families of those killed in action can register. You can visit WYMT.com for more on how to get tickets. With vaping skyrocketing among teens, health officials are now warning about a possible link to severe lung disease. About 24 cases of suspected severe lung injury linked to vaping have been reported in 3 states in the past month. Children's Minnesota is treating 4 teens ages 16 to 18. The patients did not respond to antibiotics, and doctors say the patient's lungs sustained some kind of injury and then the lungs began to fail. Some patients required ventilators. Pediatric pulmonologist Dr. Ann Griffiths says the vaping epidemic could be causing serious damage.
We also know that people have been vaping for years, and so why are we seeing some of these injuries now? My biggest fear is how we've been seeing them all along, and we didn't know it because it looks so similar to common diseases.
The Minnesota Department of Health says doctors should ask patients who have pulmonary symptoms about vaping and caution that anyone who vapes and has symptoms should see their doctor. It was a popular decision here, but more than 24 states and cities have now filed a lawsuit to try and block the Trump administration from rolling back restrictions on coal-burning power plants.
And we will dry out and warm up by the end of the work week and especially this weekend. Have a look at that full forecast coming up.